great.
So we can...
Here, wait. Got to command alt, delete, and then we go to record. Okay, yep, now I'm officially recording for good.
Okay, so let's go ahead and hit clap. Or hit clap. Do the clap. There you go. You ready, Morg?
I am super duper ready. Why is it showing us that on live?
I have zero confidence in the super duper ready.
I also, no.
It doesn't say that we're on Twitch.
I'm watching it now.
Just chill.
Why is it not showing up for me?
Dude, let's clap in. Come on.
Okay. Let's just do this, yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Hunter's Hub. This is your host, Fortuan, joined by co-host Morg Daddy. Good evening, Morg. How are we doing?
Good evening. I'm a little frustrated because I can't find you on Twitch. It's really, really frustrating. But other than that,
us on Twitch.
Really? It's showing up for you? Live channels. Come on, where is it? Where is Hunter's Hub? There it is. Perfect. Okay. Great. And then, oh, no. Chat only. Ah! Good fucking God. Okay.
Okay. And then also Pan. How you doing?
Doing great. I just told the Discord we're live, so let's get going.
I'm also going to send it to Twitter.
Oh, no. I haven't maximized the stream yet. There we go. I keep showing the Discord sometimes. I'm bad about that. I'm real bad.
Yeah.
I should not be a Twitch streamer, right? Throw that phone away. All right. So.
Nice.
We're going to be talking about our Monster of the Week first, but little recap before. We're going to be talking about Monster of the Week. As always, we're going to talk a little bit more about Rise. We're going to announce tonight's winner of the Digital Deluxe Edition, and then we'll get details to you how to get that code to you. Welcome, Cloud. And, should I have not done that? Anyways.
I'm sure he likes it, being acknowledged. That's a good thing.
And then
nice, awesome. Thanks for being here, bro.
Oh wow!
Also, we're going to be talking about This Is My Land towards the end, which is the up and coming early access Native American survival game, which will have a lot of. It's going to be a heavy political episode and racially charged, and yeah. So
all the things that I don't like.
So that's why we're going to front load the Monster Hunter stuff. Because I understand if you bail out, because if that's not your thing, that's totally okay.
We were going to talk about Monster Hunter, the movie, but our other co-host Ace couldn't make it tonight, so we postponed that to next week.
Yes, that's true. We did. Yeah, we did say last week we're going to talk about the Paul W.S. Anderson masterpiece, and we're holding off till next week. Obvious sarcasm. But
we will do it.
Yes, no, we will talk about it.
Nice. Thanks for being here. Awesome.
So
wait, does that crown mean he's a VIP?
I have no idea. This is why I should not be a Twitch streamer. I have no idea how this stuff works. I
think it means he has Twitch Prime. Or
Thank
whatever
you for supporting
it is.
us.
So, first things first, we're going to talk about Volvodon. So, Volvodon, Morg, tell us why you love the, I want to call him Armadillo, but you guys said it's a P. I just can't remember the
pangolin.
Pangolin,
yeah.
There you go. The pangolin.
Yeah, it's definitely a pangolin. Okay, where do I even begin? Okay, so before Gossarog, I think that he was probably one of the most diverse and probably the best fights for a bear-type monster because he had the paralysis, he had the stink, he could do tremor, he rolls up into a ball, he can shift his position and maneuver around you. He had so many cool, neat tricks up his sleeve, a prehensile tongue. Oh man, and even though he wasn't particularly fast back then, he had enough tricks up his sleeve to be able to keep you on your toes, but after fighting him in Rise, holy crap, he is really fun for me. I love that fight. And I love I love the design of the mask for the armor set, like
Mm-hmm.
this big red mask with like the teeth and stuff like that. And yeah, the fact that his stuff revolves around his switch axe, like his paralysis switch axe. The armor that you can get in low rank, it really complements that really, really well. Especially with like
One
rapid
of
morph being one of
Yeah,
the skills.
say in Rise, it's one of the earliest instances of rapid morph, which is very, very useful for both Switch Axe and Charge Blade.
Yeah, I've always loved that monster. And and there's another thing. In the turf war with Tetranodon, I know that Legambi and Arzuros and Volvidon all share it. But there was a neat little thing that is unique to Volvidon is that when he gets off of Tetranodon, he does his little thing where he rolls backwards, which the other two do not do. So it's actually a little bit more unique than the other ones. Like it actually has a little bit of his characteristics, some of his flavor, which I honestly, would have thought that the developers would have just overlooked. But the fact that they actually put that in there, that little extra detail, it shows that they're paying attention. I like it.
Oh yeah, no, they're always paying attention. Like as much as I got on them for Turf Wars. Yeah, I was trying not to crack up over that one
No, it's
too.
not.
Morg. Yeah.
That's not how you spread it, buddy.
Yeah, that's good old Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Oh my god.
We didn't hear you, Pan.
Nothing. I'm just muttering to myself.
Oh. So yeah, I like Volvidon. I've always liked Volvidon. I'm on record of liking all monsters, so it's not surprising. I will say, he's not one of my favorites though. He's not. The problem with especially in Tri and 3U and where they came up, they're very low tier monsters, and I think that they have good move sets, but the problem with them is they're like a punching bag. They break, they bop around, like there used to be a thing with a Volvidon, you could play pinball with it. If you got it into the state where it was rolling backwards, you could hit it again and roll it the other way. So if you got two hunters, you could play tennis with a Volvidon. Now,
That's so awesome.
they took that out.
We have. Oh my god,
They
you
took
couldn't
it
do
out
that.
in Rise. So like in Rise, he just does it once and it's it. He just blah, 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 and then you're like, man, I really want my Volva pinball. And
That would have been really sick. That would have been really cool.
But yeah, him having both paralysis and stink, and he's the only monster that's had stink for the new gen of people, because we didn't have stink in World or Iceborne, and we don't have, and we just now it's the only one that has stink. And the only other monster that could have done it in a mainline game before him was Kangalala. And
yeah, Kongalala, yeah.
And what?
I don't like stink.
It's a rough status. Like even for a
You don't like
monster.
I don't like getting farted on by monsters, and now I can't drink potions. Okay.
I think it's the ultimate trolley move. Like it's the best. Like honestly, that was one of the few reasons why I like that.
Kongalala is such a troll.
Yeah, he is. He straight up is.
It makes sense though, because little bit of story. I actually dealt with like a stinky status in real life recently, and I talked about this a tiny bit before the stream.
Yeah.
So my work, we ended up going to a waste treatment plant, and it's a lot of the systems are failing there, so it smells worse. I went there hungry. Like I was like, I skipped breakfast. I need lunch. We got there like at 11 a.m. I was like, lunchtime. We got there. I left that place. I never want to eat it again. I was like, nope. I'm never hungry. So like I can understand why it doesn't allow you to eat or drink. Like it's a tricky status. So like
Yeah, it sounds like a real stinker.
I think Almudron should cause stink. There's no way his mud doesn't smell awful.
The golden mud. Yeah, that's weird. It's like some.
Because it's like this weird mucus off of him.
Right, it's a mucus that mixes in with the mud that causes it to be like super acidic. I think is what they said, or something like that. It's
Yeah,
like,
because it
Yeah, it is. It's a very strong acid that allows him to be able to mold the ground that he's around. That's why he's able to burrow through things so easily.
Right, because he
But
just
he also
dissolves the ground. It's
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
So
But what's really
Diablos' excuse then?
Big horns.
horns?
Big horns. He's a drill. You see him when he digs? He actually spins.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a drill.
Yeah.
He's a living drill.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he's an auger.
Yeah.
You know what would be really cool is if they did actually make it so that Almudron actually did give you stink. I know people are going to hate me for saying that, and they already hate him enough as it is. Like, there's a big section of the community that actually really dislikes Almudron for some strange reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that he moves around a lot, repositions and stuff like that, and his moves are very hard to predict. But
I think he's amazing.
I think it would make sense to give him stink because in a lot of the areas that he's in these big stagnant bodies of water that are really dirty. And
That's what I am.
like you find him in a swamp and like the water is like putrid brown. Like you can't say that there isn't any fecal matter in that. And like that mud wallow, like there's bufangos in it all the time. And what do you think that pigs do in mud wallows if they're really comfortable?
Hey,
they piss and shit in it.
That's hogs. Wild boars are cleaner than that.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
No,
Are you
I'm
really
not
sure about that?
I'm not sure at all. This is based off of zero research. I am just saying.
I keep pigs, so I have a reference to to fall back on. Yeah, like
I'm not
sure
gonna
they poop in the
argue.
corner, but like when push comes to shove, if they need moisturizing,
Well, I don't
yeah.
like Volvi.
Oh no.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You don't like the
Wait.
stink.
Well,
Okay. The stink. Is there anything else you don't?
I don't like
him?
stink and I don't like paralysis. I don't like it.
So
But
He's annoying.
getting paralyzed in the air.
Annoying.
Getting paralyzed in the air is the funniest thing. Like, you ever seen that animation where you're in the air and then all of a sudden you just go legs up first, just go. You're like, ah! It's like you're getting tased while you're skydiving. It's the funniest thing I've
Yeah.
ever seen. That shit's hilarious. I actually don't even mind getting paralyzed when that happens. When I'm in the air and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
oh my god, it's freaking hilarious. I love it.
Yeah.
I think Rise Volvidon. I think there's been quite a few improvements to Volvi for Rise.
Mhm.
He's a lot faster. He's a lot zippier.
Mm-hmm.
Because like in previous games, you just kind of walk around behind him, wailing on his back until he dies.
Yeah. And I actually also like the way that they changed where, like, the perimeter that the stink comes from. Because it's not like a full circumference of his body. Like, it doesn't go directly on his head. Like, it secretes out of the sides of his body rather than, like, also out of his head, which I don't think that you'd want to have those kinds of glands in your head. But, yeah, I like some of the improvements. It makes it a lot easier as a hammer user. Yay! Get to smash his head. Feels good.
I also just don't like don't like fighting him because most of Sword Shield attacks are cutting,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't like fighting him. I don't like him. None of his armor is good for me. He's just like a meh monster to me.
Have you ever tried any of his weapons?
I don't think does. He have a sword and shield in Rise? I don't think he does.
I don't think so.
Not that I've seen, no.
Yeah, he doesn't have one in Rise, so
Well, there's a charge blade. It's like a sword and shield.
Yeah, there's not a.
yeah. Why would I have something like a sword and shield when I have a sword and shield?
Touche.
And less
There's
complicated.
no winning that argument.
What was that?
And less complicated.
But I'm just not a fan of him. He's a B.
Oh, well, let's get.
You know what?
right
Actually,
into
that's a
the
better
rating.
tiering than. That's actually a better tiering than one of my friends when he showed me his Rise list, and he put it at like top C. So. Yeah, I'll take B. I'll take B.
I'm okay with it being insulting to Charge Blade. I was a Charge Blade main for 2 games. It's okay. I
I like Charge Blade. It's a funny
no,
weapon.
I like it too. I'm I am part of Great Sordia now. Sorry, I was.
Mm-hmm.
I made up the false country of Great Sordia last night, and I was having a ball with it. We are right next to the country of Chargeblodia. Oh, it was fun. My rating for Volvodon is actually an A. Love
Sorry,
the monster. It's not perfect. I don't like how much of a punching bag it is. Although all of the monsters in Rise have gotten updates where they're more difficult. Like, everything is more difficult as far as movesets go. I will say, content-wise, I don't think they're more difficult, but, like, movesets-wise, all the bears got an update. They got new moves that can catch you off guard. Arzu's having his shoulder check. Volvodon no longer able to pinball. Which, was abusable. Volvodon also got a short, he used to have to really wind up for the paralysis spit, and he got a faster one occasionally.
The build-up is much more quick.
Yeah.
And he's just faster.
Yeah, he's just faster.
I love it.
And then Lagombi's mostly the same, but they gave him a couple new just moves to mix in to make him a little more hard to predict, I think is what happened. So that's Volvodon, a B, an A, and Morg. Where are we at for this one?
I'm going to give it an A+ because it's one of my favorites. But honestly, there aren't really that many monsters that I actually hate. Most of them, I either love them. Most of them I love. Yeah. Others, if I dislike them, obviously, they're either in the meh or like really hate them. And there's very few of them that are like really hate.
I have one in the really hate. One.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
King Shakalaka.
That's fair.
Breaks the rules,
I was going to say that mine was half-Ray Kulturoth. I think mine was half-Ray Kulturoth because you don't even get to kill it, and you have to just keep doing the siege over and over and over again until you finally get what it is that you're looking for, and you don't even get to use her materials in order to craft any, like, RNG weapons,
Spoilers.
Master Rank Kulturoth, way better.
Spoilers incoming. Spoilers incoming. Warning, close your ears if you haven't finished Rise story. Spoilers incoming.
Okay.
We got 2 monsters we don't kill.
Yeah.
Oh, I know which ones you're talking about, and I'm not going to say which ones they are.
No.
We'll let everybody else find out about them.
I don't think that hurts the monster. Since Gen 1, I've dealt with repels, right? Repels have always been a thing.
Yeah. But I mean, like, the thing about, like, HR Culve is that, like, you don't even, like, really get a chance to be able to, like, re-roll for any weapons. You just have to just do the siege over and over and over and over again until you finally get what you're looking for. And you're not even guaranteed to get what you're looking for because there's, like, 3 different... there's, like, 3 different rarities for the weapons. And then there's like 14 different weapons that you have to choose from, and they have to have like the correct alignment for the type of ailment that you have to have. And if you're looking for the particular skill in mind, which is crit status or crit ailment, that just makes it even like less likely for you to be able to get what you're looking for. And that really hurt my experience when I was getting into the end game of World. And that really, really pissed me off was that, the materials that you were getting from her, like just the materials alone, didn't contribute to you getting any of the weapons.
I will say, she was a cool monster. It was a cool fight. Mm-hmm. The Iceborne / world mechanics of RNG around her, not good. Yeah.
I think that's really the only part of it that really, really damaged my appreciation for that monster. But other than that, the fight was moderately okay.
I don't pin that on the monster, though. You know what I mean? Like... Yeah.
I never liked the game of the floor is lava though. Yeah, yuck.
Oh, that's super fun with wire bugs now.
Yeah, it is. Now we actually can get away from shit.
Yeah.
And like Clutch Claw also kind of fixed that too, because there were parts of her body you could latch onto to be able to save yourself from burning to death. You didn't have to worry about, running a lance with like guard 5 and then like guard up in order to be able to save yourself from half of her attacks. So, yeah, I'm actually quite happy that, I actually wouldn't even mind. No, Call can stay in World. We can always use a different siege monster.
Okay.
Yamatsukami, namely.
I think that
Or
averages
Shingaren.
out to an A minus, A. So somewhere in there.
Yeah.
We're not super strict about these numberings, but
Probably an A, yeah.
But like I said, I didn't want to didn't want to do it first thing, but we are going to at this point announce the winner of the Digital Deluxe Edition, and we only had about 7 or 8 entries, but I did put this on Wheel of Names.
Ooh.
And the winner, the result is bracket ant bracket.
Ooh, cool.
So Ant, if you're listening, hit me up on a DM at some point, and we will work out how to get that code to you.
Would that happen to be on Twitter?
Oh, he's on. So.
Yeah. Oh, he's in the chat. Woo!
Yay!
So
Congratulations! You win!
Good job, Ant.
Oh, I hope you enjoy that code. You
Um,
got yourself a free game.
and here's a surprise. We're doing it again. Ace has an extra copy, so we're going to be doing that next week. So stick around, folks.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ace got an extra copy because remember, you didn't join the Cool Kids Club, Morg.
Yeah, we all got him now. Me, Chauncey, Ace, Pan, all of us. My buddy Heath.
I get to be made fun of for being poor. Yay!
Oh, he just.
I love
flipped-
poverty.
He flipped it like a pancake.
Yes, I did.
Well, now I
Flipped it
feel
like a
you did.
pancake that didn't have little bubbles on top to tell you that the one side was cooked. It was still raw. Hope you like the taste of raw pancake there, Fortuan. Mmm.
I actually. So, funny story. My mom made pancakes earlier this year when my brother was home, because he's not home a lot lately. And they were kind of raw, and I still ate them. And he was like, this is gross. It's still batter in the middle. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of like it.
Did he still eat them?
No, he was like, I'm out. But me,
I can't picture.
When my
I can't
husband
picture
makes
somebody.
pancakes, when my husband makes pancakes, he makes like the batter like from scratch with like buttermilk and flour and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes they turn out like super thick pancakes. They're like this thick.
Oh,
And
wow.
they're usually a little doughy and battery in the middle, but they're so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
It's always nice to be able to mix in like a little extra treat in the middle, like like you could put like banana, or you could put chocolate chip in it, or you can even like fill it up with blueberries and all kinds of good stuff. Top it up with some strawberries and whipped cream.
I get
So
chocolate chip
good.
pancakes every once in a while at like Bob Evans or something. They're not bad.
Chocolate chip banana pancakes, just.
I eat peanut butter on my pancakes.
Yes,
Not
we
a bad
talked
choice.
about this.
Hot melty peanut butter on a pancake. Oh my god.
Is it the crunchy kind? What you got against crunchy peanut butter?
Nothing. Crunchy peanut butter is for sandwiches, not pancakes.
Oh, well, I mean, I'd probably try either one and see how well it works.
Well,
Never know.
so.
Oh, you poor soul! Oh, you find a pocket of baking soda. Oh,
That's Zweeper.
you poor
Yeah, good
thing.
old Zweef.
Oh,
I'm glad Zweef has joined us tonight.
Yeah. We're not going to scare
well-
him off.
Nah.
well, you took a whisk worth taking.
Well,
A whisper. All right, so back to Monster Hunter Rise. We're going to talk a little bit more about progress, a little more thoughts we've had. A little bit of an update. I have finished absolutely everything. All quests. All of the stuff. I only have a few guild card achievements left, which is unlock switch skills for all weapons, which means you have to craft an X amount of weapons in every tree. That's hella expensive. I know there are ways to cheat it, because technically, if you make something and then reforge it back to the original state, and then make it and reforge it, and make it and reforge it, those count. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you would
yeah, you don't
DM
technically have to
Fortuan.
do it.
DM Fortuan on Discord. I think that'd be the best way.
Yes, yeah, and that's the way that I would prefer. I do have the code. I'm not obviously I don't want to do that on stream because someone might
Yeah.
take it or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is.
Everybody just like enters in, just grabs the code. What do you do?
It is right here.
No,
It's on the other.
no.
It's on the other side. It's on the other side, and it's covered by one of those lottery scratch things.
See?
Oh,
I
okay. So then,
I
yeah, no
haven't
worries.
Scratched it yet, so I will
Okay.
scratch it and give it to Ant after the stream. Sorry, Ant. You'll have to wait a couple hours. I don't want to do that.
But don't worry, you're gonna get it.
You... I've done most everything. I've started crown hunting 2 monsters down, Rajang and Almudron, both wonderful monsters. I have started. I am like really close to doing the every switch skill, which means crafting all weapons, like 7 of all weapons, and upgrading certain ones and stuff. I will say, doing the Pokemon Snap thing, I love. It was one of the funnest things I did. And then, well, at this point, I've mostly been helping people and crown hunting. Although crown hunting has started off rough. Aside from incidentally getting Almudron and Rajang, I have fought. We are up to 67 Great Azuchi.
Oh my god.
Um,
Is there like a? Oh wait, hey. I think there's a way that you might be able to get a small Great Azuchi if you use. I think Weakener. I think Weakener might actually determine the size. Based off of health pool size.
It's a chance.
Have you been using that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm starting to think.
Is there a bigger monster version of Weakener?
No. Not.
Ooh.
Could you imagine that where it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna make the monster deliberately harder, but it will also increase the size. Yeah, Monsteroid.
There was one. It was called Game Changer.
I know. Yeah, I know there was one.
I remember Game Changer like brought in a random monster if there was a chance. Yeah.
But Game Changer also had a stealth effect of possibly making them a gold crown.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
As far as I understand, yes. Like, don't 100% quote me on that, but like that was a possibility. But yeah, this is probably the most obscure obscure way to get crown hunting, because this is the first game where it's not required in a guild card. There is no guild card achievement for it, and it's the first time. And people are like, "Yay, no RNG!" But like me as an since World, a crown hunter, and I've gone back and done some crown hunting on older games. Yeah, this is like the toughest crown hunting game so far. So,
well, at least you're never going to be short on materials. So no. You're probably gonna.
If I'm ever so Chance has been doing it with me. He has accumulated. What was it? 247 Great Azuchi Pelt Plus.
Nice. Very nice.
Sell for 1,039 zenny a piece.
You're never going to be broke, and you're always going to have materials now to be able to make whatever charms you want. So, like
melding, melding.
Crown hunting is.
However, Great Azuchi does not provide materials for melding.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the earlier monsters do not.
At least you got money.
No, it's purely the benefit is money at this point. But still heavily enjoying the game, still heavily playing it. I have reached 150 hours now. So yeah, we're trucking on. Although Oddworld Soulstorm released, so I want to start getting that done. And then also we have Naruto Boy that I'm doing for Bickering Bucks. that I got to start working on as well. So
Why am I thinking Naruto?
it sounds a lot like Naruto.
Shadow Clone Jutsu.
It is more like Tron than Naruto, though.
Okay, that's cool.
It's 80s computer graphics. So yeah, Morg, I know you're still on your single player kick. You're going through Hub now, or still in Village?
Yeah, actually, I managed to clear, I think it was Great Azuchi, and then there was a Kuluyaku Arzuros mission that I did as well, solo. It is so fun. I love it. And the best part about when I was going on expeditions to clear out like some subquests, like requests, like all three monsters just showed up in the same area, exact same time. So I just like jumped from each one of them, wyvern riding and taking turns on them. It was the best. And like I won't do the finisher. What I'll do is instead of doing the finisher, I'll just press the Y button and then go boom. And then once I've finished that, I'll just jump on the next one, just beat the crap out of them, and then get to the point of the finisher, and then go boom into the next one. It is so funny, and you just pick up like millions of shinies just everywhere.
It's
it is
like
so
they're pinatas.
Good. It is. It is. Well, more like puppets. More like those French shows where they'll have like like the wife and the husband, and then they'll like take turns with bats just beating the shit out of each other. But like you get to be the puppeteer the whole time. So, oh man, it's real fun. And because I've been using the Argosy since I think it was like day one, going through doing like the solo campaign and just doing the Argosy that way, I was able to get, because of also the first Omodron hunt that I did, I got a plate. I was able to get the it was the what is it called? The Skalda, yeah, the Skalda waste. So I immediately got weakness exploit on my set, so it's
Oh,
I just need to unlock the Bulldrome cap for high rank, and then I got probably Bludgeoner 2, I think.
I did change my armor a bit.
Did you?
I replaced the Rathalos helm with the Magnamalo helm.
Ooh.
So this is because I got a Partbreaker charm of level 2.
Nice.
Heartbreaker 2 and some skill I really don't care about. So much so that I don't remember it. But I started using the Perfect Block skill, the level 3 gem, where if I do the pushing block with the Greatsword, it does count and I do get the damage boost. So I like that. Anything else on your progress, Maury? I just wanted to say that before I forgot.
Well, I've been actually kind of like going around on expeditions, especially in, I think it was the Frost Isles. Just looking around for like great wire bug locations, and then I found one of them that led me up to like the high pinnacle. Yeah, I went up to the highest pinnacle of the map that I'd never been to before. I didn't know that there was a spot that you could like sneak around, and it was completely isolated from everything else. You go and you check the wire bug out, and then you're basically on like the Arctic equivalent of Pride Rock, and there's like a relic at the top of it and a mining zone, whatever. And then you go and you look out, and you're like, oh, you see the whole map. It's beautiful.
I did get all the relics now too. That is something I forgot to mention. All the notes. So yeah, that's a fun one to find. You're talking about where you use the wire bug and it goes up a crescent. It looks like almost like the one from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
Yeah, that sort of Kirby. Okay, cool. So Pan, I know we made some progress with you yesterday.
Yeah. So I finished the sort of hub quest line. I mean, I haven't done all the hub quests, not by any means, but I've done all the key quests and all the urgents, and I fought the spoiler boss. I thought that fight was really fun. Really wish I had worn some better resistance appropriate to that boss. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, but we didn't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah, that's okay. But my favorite armor set is pretty weak to that type, so that was fun. But I don't play I don't play online a whole lot because I can only do it when the kid is not home or when he's asleep. So
Yeah.
I've been making a lot of progress on the village quests. I've got almost every village quest done except for like one or two of the last tier. What's it, like 4-star or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's 6-star.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I've got a few of those, like one or two of those left to do in the village, and I've got a ton of stuff to do in the hub because hub quests are tedious when you're soloing them.
They can be.
They
yeah.
can be.
Yeah.
I crown hunt in the hub. So
Apex Arzros. That was fun to solo. Holy shit.
I can't.
I knew packing Fortify was gonna be a must because he just literally just clapped me 3 times in a row. It was so fun. Holy crap! I'd never been so utterly destroyed and so happy in my entire life. Oh, I loved it.
I was inspired by Fortwan to do a little bit of crown hunting myself. So basically, I'm eating for weakener as much as possible whenever I go out. And I found the cutest tiny little baby Arzuros.
Aww.
He was like the size of an Azuchi.
Tiny little teddy bear.
Yeah, he was. And
I'm blown away by how big Azuchi is. Did you know that Azuchi, on average, is 10 meters?
Wow. 30 feet. That's bigger than a great white shark half the time.
His tail
That's massive.
is enormous. His tail is longer than his body. Not equal to, longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I don't even know how he stays balanced with having that
It's got a
sickle
hook.
bone
He just
thing
hooks
at
on
the
a
end.
wall and he's a pendulum and he flies everywhere.
I did, I actually got to see that the first time I was fighting. I'm like, what you doing up there, buddy? And then he just comes down, just
Slices you.
slams his tail down.
oh, I wanted to say, did you see my message in the Discord earlier about Tetranodon?
Yes, I did.
Fortwan? Yeah.
I have a small crown one. I think you may be onto something. I wasn't able to see that specifically with the small crown one, but there could be 2 factors. Is A, the lighting could just be really rich in the if you were fighting him in the Shrine Ruins, the lighting in the Shrine Ruins really accents green, I feel.
No, he was underground.
Underground? Okay.
Yeah, I forget
So
which one he was in. I think it was
there's
the
that
Frost
theory.
Isles.
Frost Isle Caverns.
Yeah, I think he was in the caves in the Frost Isles.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the caves and the Frost Isles, okay. Because, I was going to say, they look really bleached out in the air in the Frost Isles.
Yeah, no, he was super bright green. Okay,
Cool.
So context for those who don't read every single thing that's posted in our Discord. I messaged Fortwan in the Discord earlier because I got a teensy weensy little Tetranodon who was actually smaller than the Volodon I was fighting, even when he was all big sumoed up. Anyways, he was super tiny and he was bright green, almost like a kiwi fruit. And I was like, that's weird because I thought these guys are much more muted and mossy looking. So then I've got a theory going that maybe smaller ones are brighter green because they're younger and the plants on their backs are younger, greener, something like that. So I told Fortwan as he's crown hunting, keep an eye out on his small ones to see if they're greener or brighter than the big ones.
If
we can,
the bigger ones do feel bleached. They do feel a little muted in their colors.
Yeah, a little less pigment. You know what? If this actually turns out to be a thing, maybe we can tag Bandligiacris and then maybe have him check that out and see if it's a thing.
Maybe
that'd be pretty cool.
He follows both of us on Twitter, so
we'll
see. He's a good fun resource for information, so he might have something.
Yeah, I'd be pretty interested to see what he has to say about it.
Yeah. Although
go ahead.
I was gonna say, although his retirement is impending, so we'll see.
Yeah, we might as well get to it while we can.
So okay, It also could be like there's just a variation in color, and I just happen to get like a bright green one that was also small.
Could be that too. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm definitely. I saw it. I just, girls here. It's hard for me to respond. So.
Yeah, I figured.
Yep. Okay. We got an event quest coming up. I don't think it'll be before we talk next time, though. Oh, look, I actually need my phone to actually see the dates. Because
it's Camellios, isn't it?
No, it's like 30th or whatever. We're getting the big update, but we're getting an event quest. It's a crossover with Ninjala, if you saw.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah. That's like a couple days before the big update. So
okay.
Today's we'll have 2 episodes before that comes out. So and I want to tell podcast and stuff. We talked about this a little bit. We did our predictions for Monster Hunter Rise and like what was going to be in there and everything. And predictions of what Rachna Kadaki was going to be. Which ended up being a Temnoceran. I checked that out recently. So that prediction episode, we're going to hold off until we get the second update, because that's when I feel that we have the complete roster. And I feel it would be unfair to judge it at this point in time, if that makes sense. And I think around that time, I would say that would be a good time for us to have played it long enough and to have said, okay, this is like my full official review of Rise. I want to give it that full second update time.
Do we have a date for the second update? This is how much I pay attention to this kind of stuff.
No, we don't.
Okay.
The only thing we have is end of April, as far as I understand. I'd have to look it up. I might.
Yeah.
But. So yeah. So there's that. Anything else to say about Monster Hunter before we move into the heavier political stuff?
Yeah, let's get into it. We might as well get our hands dirty. Fuck it, why not?
Okay,
let's get into some Native American history, the real nitty-gritty stuff. Why not?
Let's preface this a little bit. So there's this early access game called This Is My Land. It is either recent released in early access or it's been out for a while. I don't know, but I saw this actually. Going to shout out to Micah the Brave. Actually tweeted about this, and that's how I saw it. It's basically you play as a Native American who is in a survival game in the time of settlement on the western United States. So we're talking like about the same timeline as Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2. Approximately, where, we still have tribes and that stuff, but settlements and settlers are still coming into the western United States. And this is a personal issue to me, and I don't talk about this too much on the show, but being Shawnee, which is an eastern tribe, this kind of spoke to me in a couple ways, and I don't know. I feel like it was worth having a discussion, because I tweeted about it because A, I think it's an important issue to talk about, and B, I think there's some serious. I'm trying to think how to say this.
Misrepresentation?
It could be problematic, but I don't think that's not the bigger question here. Because the way that people were talking about it and saying it, the reasons why it was problematic is more where I was like, I feel the discussion is more than the content itself. Now, have you guys looked at the reviews and the game itself? But the game itself, I mean, I find it no more or less offensive than killing anyone else at any other time in a game. You're killing a bunch of settlers, and they have bosses, which is a little weird, but whatever. Like they have I looked it over. They have the ninja, which is literally just someone from I think they said Japan, who was an orphan and taking revenge out on people for having wronged his family out on the frontier. There's a boss of like a separatist, like not separatist, but like sort of like a lone troop of British soldiers as like a boss. Like stuff like that, like where it's just like, hey, there's these like super powerful enemies that you could fight and find and stuff, and conceptually it's really cool. But the problem is, let me again a little more preface. Being not as connected with my tribe as some other people, because of family issues, because of the way things have gone down. I've talked about this with Pan offline a couple times. I am Native American, but I am from a different whole tribe. And like we're talking like not even in the same geological region. I am from where I'm at, Eastern United States. This is Western. There is whole other things. It's like, so take my opinion, even as a Native American, with a grain of salt, because I don't pretend to know everything that people feel when they see this and the kind of thing. And there's a couple issues that came up with this. Is one, people are claiming they did no research and or didn't talk to any tribes to make this game, and there was no involvement or developers that are native. It was just the developers are interested in the topic and made a game about it. So I think that's a big thing to talk about. B, I kind of lost train of thought. To me, that's the biggest one, the first one.
Like, did they get an okay from it? Like, did they not like get any consultation about? You know,
I remember the second point now. The second point is B. They claim to have. You are not from a specific tribe, and that is on purpose. They do not want to represent a single tribe on purpose. And then a lot of people have gone on to say that's sort of like not a good thing, because it's sort of like lumping all tribes into one, which again we'll talk about it. I think those are the two major points for me. Is there any other points that you guys wanted to talk about on this as we dig into it?
Well, I'm gonna come out and say it. I think it's very, very risk taking of them to, make a game like this, especially with political correctiveness being kind of like, taking the reins in society right now. And the issue with them not focusing on any particular tribe in general is, there's the risk of, just generalizing. It's like, all Native Americans are the same kind of shit, and then, people get easily offended by that. And on the other hand, if you make it about a specific tribe, then, people are going to go at you for, historical accuracy and like whether or not, it's actually acceptable to portray a specific tribesperson, in the light that you put them in.
I will say, I don't have the development studio pulled up at the moment. I should. But that made me flipping off the stream to go look at it. I can't remember. But the developers, and also the publishers, they self-publish as well. They are a 4-person development team.
Yeah.
So very small. They're also they also pride themselves in making historically accurate games, and the little bit of research that I saw is that they have had previous games.
I think there might be issues with your mic volume a little bit.
Maybe it's just not close enough. Also,
did that help, guys? Did that help any of y'all?
And I can also do it on this end.
I think we're like, how many seconds of delay do we have for the footage? Okay. Yeah, he said not really. Sounds the same. Yeah, you might actually have to pump up the volume a little bit.
I did. Oh, hey.
Okay,
that weird
awesome.
Spider. Anyways, so what I was gonna say is they're a 4-person development team, and they have also had previous games that were actually used in classrooms to teach about history specifically.
Okay.
So they actually have some credibility in the space of actually making historically accurate games, as far as I understand. Right, like this is a week of light research, more heavy research before the show about these guys. So it seems that that they are intending to do the right thing, at the very least. Yes, Pan?
So I've been kind of reading up about the development team on Wikipedia. And Wikipedia says that Game Labs LLC, that's the developer slash, they are based in the Ukraine. And I'm gonna guess, based off of all these names, that they are all Eastern European fellows. So I can kind of understand that, if they're Ukrainian or Eastern European, they didn't necessarily know the shitstorm they step in.
Yeah,
Not excusing it, just saying. Yeah. It's I could see how they could have not fully understood, like, what they're doing. Not. Sure. You know what I mean? They didn't understand the shit they were about to step in.
Yeah. One thing I will say is that a lot of nations, they don't like video games that bring up their past. Nobody likes their own history. They like everybody else's history. That's kind of a given. I mean, like, Call of Duty Nazi Zombies was not made in Germany for pretty damn good reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just kind of a thing, Like, I think that, people really need to be a little bit more cautious about some of their ideas when they come up with games like this, because, there's a lot of political backlash that can come with this kind of shit. Yeah, that's really all I can say, is that, if it were me that was responsible for this, I would have not made it. I would have definitely not made this game, because, there's just too much risk.
There's a bit of a conundrum for me, and this is the big thing that made me want to talk about this. Was that a lot of people were saying, either you didn't do enough research, which, hey, we don't know behind closed doors how much research they actually did. We don't know. But B, also, there should also be someone who is Native American involved on the development team. And I've seen that said too. Let me get this clear, okay? There's a couple problems with having a Native American on the development team, all right? Here in the United States, we have the highest poverty rate. We have the least access to be in careers like that. I'm an anomaly because I'm not part of that demographic. I wasn't raised on a reservation. I don't deal with a lot of those same issues. That's why also I can't relate to a lot of people like that. But let's be clear. There are not many Native American development game studios, or any at all, to my knowledge. Right?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, not that I know of.
So without people who aren't Native American, we aren't going to see those stories. If people who are not Native American don't want to talk about it, then we're not going to see it. I can think of 2 representations, and I said this on Twitter, 2 representations that I care about, or have seen to any sort of degree, which is Connor from Assassin's Creed 3, and then also, and Connor would be more relative to Eastern tribes like myself, and then also Turok, which is a Western tribe, but also both fiction. And then
I'm cracking up. I'm sorry, I'm cracking up because yesterday when I was telling my husband we were going to talk about this, I'm like, oh man, I bet Fortuan's going to have a lot to say, because on the one hand, he probably likes having representation, because all he's got for representation is Connor and Turok.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying.
I don't even have Twitter. I didn't see your tweet.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's it.
I
I
literally said that
love
yesterday.
Turok, and that's my favorite Assassin's Creed because I love having representation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like it's a. I don't feel represented in this game. It's not my tribe. It doesn't feel like. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest here. There's a lot of people in my tribe that would love to actually be this person killing people. Like I'm not even joking. Like
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of resentment behind,
oh
what
yeah,
happened in the
there is.
past. Like, it's a
But
lot of weight.
not to say that they're bad people. I'm just just saying that
No,
that
no. They're kind of entitled to their grievances.
So, looking at this game, it looks like a reskin of Shadow of Mordor. Am I wrong?
almost
It kinda-
yeah. Like I didn't get to delve into the gameplay aspects of it too much. I was more
Yeah.
focused on their intent and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
There's some, like, Far Cry elements as well to it, sort of.
yeah, there's a lot of emphasis on stealth, which let me tell you
Mhm.
now, in my experience when we talked about combat and stuff as a kid, which was something discussed in my tribe, because stealth was a big part of it. It's not. There wasn't like, hey, there's a whole reason why like the Revolutionary War had this thing about like not standing face to face, and they learned it from guerrilla tactics or whatever. It's like, yeah, that was just like the normal thing for my tribe. It was like that's how you did things, and
Mhm.
like my biggest problem that I have with the whole situation is that not that they were doing something, and they may have not represented a tribe too well. Like I don't know. Do you represent a specific tribe? Like I don't know. I don't know if that's the right thing. I think for them as being who they are and where they are, not picking a specific tribe might have been just the easiest with their resources, considering it's
Mhm.
literally 4 people, right? Like, and then also
I think it would be virtually impossible to be able to make a game that, had fair representation of all the different tribes that existed in North America at the time.
right.
No,
there's
considering
over
all their different
500.
lifestyles, all the different
There's
places
over
that they
500
existed
different
in.
tribes, and my dad and I actually talked quite a bit about this when I first saw it, and because I wanted my dad's opinion. He's a lot more of a grumpy old man, so more so than I ever will be, and he his perspective on it. He was okay with the whole idea up until they started talking about the update that had war paint, and that was a little bit of an issue for him, because war paint,
Yeah.
they don't realize that war paint is strictly tied to a religious thing, but that's the way that most tribes are. Every aspect of life is tied together. You don't separate.
Mhm.
Like we don't have like what we have here in modern day United States, where there is a very much separation of religion and outdoors, culture and that kind of stuff. It's all
Yeah.
interwoven 100%. Like, and that's the way it was, and that's the way I grew up in my tribe. Is everything was about everything. Like, it wasn't that it's like to get a little bit religious. It wasn't like what I hear in Christianity, which I am a Christian. That it's like every moment you're doing something for God or whatever. It's not in the aspect. It's just like your life is also part of the religion. So like it just happens. Like it's just everything's tied into it. And yes, there was war paint in my tribe, but like it was specific patterns, specific
It was for
things.
ceremonial reasons, right?
Well, yeah, but also like it was believed to be like guardian spirits and that kind of stuff for certain tribes and that kind of thing. But like the war paint, the way they put it, is not unlike the war paint we put on, like let's say, orcs and Mordor. To bring that reference of that game up, where it's like I'm here for intimidation tactics, and I'm going to paint a skull on my face and ribs, and that's literally what one of the like the splash screen for that update on their site is like I'm going to paint a skull and ribs because that's going to be like a scare tactic kind of thing. Doesn't that look cool? And it's like, so they missed some religious context there, but overall, I think that a lot of people are jumping on this because if there
Yeah.
isn't someone on I don't understand the whole, hey, someone has to be on the development team that is Native American for this to be a thing. Because I'm like, we wouldn't have hardly any, and we still don't have hardly any representation or games about Native Americans. And part of the reason why they made this is because there is such a lack in that space of knowledge. And I find the notion that someone who isn't a culture can't talk about another culture ridiculous, right? Like, I find the whole idea that saying, hey, you have to be Japanese to talk about Japanese culture. And I'm like, well, there is a perspective of A, from the outside, and B, yeah, be respectful, right? Be as respectful and up to date as you can be on someone else's culture. But at the same time, I don't think it's taboo to talk about a culture that's not yours too. Like, it shouldn't be, at least in my opinion. So that was my biggest concern coming out of this. It's like, without people who aren't Native American working on this stuff, we don't get this stuff. To my knowledge, I don't think anyone really was Native American working on Turok. I don't.
Probably not. But I mean, like, it was a completely different time, you know? Like, people's approach to
90s.
things was very, very different.
90s and then the 50s even for the comics. The comics came out in the 50s for Turok. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know Turok's history enough to know if they had that kind of representation. So another thing is like without that kind of representation, so we're not going to see anything. And I'm not saying that I'm particularly fighting for this game. I don't think I'll end up picking it up. It's not my style of game anyways, but it's just, I don't know. It was super weird for me to hear people be like, you know, like, you're racist, you didn't do your research, you didn't, you know, you need to have someone on the team that is this. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, I don't get it. So I don't, you guys have any thoughts to add to that? I feel like I've just been rambling in a circle.
I actually do have a couple of things to say. Yeah, thanks for being here, bro. What I will say is that there are ways of being able to, you know, keep the culture of Native Americans alive, because it actually is an issue that it is actually dying out. Even in Canada, it's pretty bad. Like, you know, there are schools that are dedicated to trying to keep the language and, you know, some of the cultural practices, you know, and the art and whatnot still alive.
How many
it's difficult.
languages have died? How many Native American languages have just straight up died? Like,
well, there are no Native Americans that live off of the East Coast, I can tell you that much. They all died from, you know, colonization, from smallpox, from a lot of things. And, you know, it was a big issue. You know, none of those people are there anymore. They're all gone. And the ones that are still alive, you know, they're not doing very well at all. Most of them can't even speak their native tongue. Right. But, you know, like, I feel like if they really wanted to, you know, provide good representation and to, you know, get a message into, like, you know, make something about Native American history, I think that maybe they should have, I hate to say it, but I kind of have to agree with some of these people in saying that maybe they should have done a little bit more and been a little bit more careful and actually, like, consulted with people who actually knew, like, very thoroughly, like, not just knew it, but, like, actually lived it and breathed it, you know, just to make it a little bit more accurate. And, you know, there are ways to be able to approach us in a very, you know, in a very respectful and sensitive manner, but, you know, I don't really think that, you know, they are doing with the best of intentions. I'm assuming, you know, it's only 4 people, yeah, sure, but, I think that there is some context that they're missing, that, you know, that's what's triggering people. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that maybe if they took maybe a little bit more time with it, which unfortunately a lot of small developers can't really afford,
Now,
Maybe they could have made something really, really good with it. I'm not going to say that the combat is bad, and I'm not going to say that, the ideas of like, choosing to either kill or spare shouldn't be in a player's hands, because I'm betting you 100% that there would have been a lot of Native Americans who were in that position where, somebody's life was in their hands and they could have chosen to either let them go or, take vengeance on them.
right.
But
Again,
like it's
I,
very
I almost wanted to pick up this game and play it just to see what there was that could be seen as offensive or whatnot. And I want to point something out. And chat said this, and also you kind of said this too, Morg, is they could have done more research and talking to some tribes.
Yeah.
Supposedly they did. Supposedly they could talk to a couple different tribes about this topic. And supposedly they have done this with other historical games that they have done is a lot of different research. So what I saw, at least, and especially on their AMA that they did for this game, was like someone kind of attacking them, being like, "You did no research, you didn't talk to anybody," and they're like, "We did," and that was basically their answer. It's like, we're not going to tell you who we talked to, but we talked to someone. Now, whether you believe them or not, that's up to you. But like,
yeah.
But see, the thing is,
It's
like,
a little sus.
well, yeah, it is, but like, I'm also trying to figure out what was so offensive. What was so offensive about this game? Like, I don't understand where people got so offended. Is it simply the fact that it's about playing as a Native American who isn't from a specific tribe?
It probably could have been just that the
Is it the subject matter of just killing settlers? And now I will say there's some other problems, at least from my perspective as a Native American. The title is a problem. That is a very European concept of this is my land, right?
Ownership was not a thing that they really believed in, because they lived off of the island. They had a relationship with
land. Yeah, ownership of land specifically. Ownership was a thing. Don't get me wrong, but not of land.
No.
So that's a little off, right? And like, there's a lot of things that are just off and not there, and that kind of thing. But like, it's been very weird looking from an outside and being like, okay, this is something I would normally hear / care about. And I will say there is a wonderful piece of representation, which I have talked about on the podcast with both of you, which, if you guys remember, Blood Quantum, the horror movie, the horror zombie movie about a Native American tribe who was in Canada. And I don't remember, maybe it was Alaska. Sorry, it was in Alaska. And they were entirely immune to the zombie virus, and it was about the social political issues of being Native American in an apocalypse, let alone today's society. And that was a really good movie. It went really dark. It took a really dark turn at one point. But having been around my tribe in my earlier years and knowing that some people that were like that, that's not an unrealistic ending, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't know. I found it weird. I found the whole situation weird. I'm not saying that they're 100% good and everyone should go buy this game. In fact, if you look at the Steam page, both user and critic reviews mostly positive.
Yeah. I'm just very leery about this. Like, I can't help but feel a little bit tense.
Yeah. So, like, what do we do? Like, what is? I don't know. I wish I found someone that was a little more offended by this. Like, because I was like, I don't understand where the offense came from. Honestly, there's little nitpicky things that, like, okay, it feels like you didn't do all your research, but like, the ideas are still there and intact. Like, I don't think they were blatantly disrespecting the Native American community like a lot of people are accusing them of doing so.
I think it might be just the vagueness of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. And this is where I can't really relate and identify as what they're representing whatsoever. It's not even the right region for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know how someone, if who was like maybe Sioux or something that did live in that area and could have been in that time and could have been one of those tribes. Like I don't know how they would feel. It's just
Yes.
Well,
yes,
yeah.
we do live in the age.
As
Yeah.
I think we'll say as chat brought this up, yes, we do live in an age of PC-ness. And I will say a little bit from both my dad and brother's perspective, outside of the war paint, my dad was like, I think people just need to stop being little bitches about it, was his words. And
Yeah.
just allow people to make a game. My dad's a computer engineer. He's made games himself. Like, he's not really big into the whole making games, but like, he was just like, I don't see why you'd be offended. Like, yeah, let's kill some white people. Like, it's awesome. And then he didn't say it's awesome, but like, that's his attitude, right? Like, my brother is very much like, hey, why are people like, why do we have to be so offended? Like, that people just need to grow up. It was kind of his statement. So like, again, it's a small microcosm, right? That we're in a total different tribe, total different area, like total different people. Like, I'm not highly offended by a lot of representation. Like, the fact that we had the Cleveland Indians, it didn't really bother me that they were called the Indians. Like, I don't. It's systemic racism that's been there and probably will always be there, and I don't.
Yeah.
You can either let that bother you, or not, and then fight it where you can. Is sort of been my mentality, and it's just a stupid baseball team that no one pays attention to. Was my was my thing, but like, again, yeah, I mean, most people would be like, hey, you can't allow that thing to happen. That kind of I can see that perspective too, but like, this is something that the Bickering Bucks and I talk about quite a bit. Is a lot of my friends on the Bickering Bucks are African American, and so we got into the whole riots and stuff last year. We had an episode about that more, if you remember. We got into about the riots and stuff, and they were like,
yeah, I do remember
like,
that.
How are you not offended by the people doing this and that kind of stuff? And I'm like, I mean, it doesn't mean I'm not, but I'm also expecting it. I'm also, this is just how things are. And I'm not going to be mad every day over the fact that people are racist, because that's just the way things are. Like, and you correct it where you can. I'm not going to live in a constant state of anger. Right?
It doesn't benefit anybody. Especially if, like, if you're being offended on the behalf of, a particular group, but you're not part of that group. You don't have any relationship with that group. Like, you don't have any friends who are part of that group, or you never were raised around that part of that group, but you're still being offended on their behalf, and they're not even offended. It's weird, man. Yeah. It's really weird.
No, and that's something my dad said specifically. He's like, you're allowed to not like it. You're allowed to say something. You're not allowed to be offended. That, like, no. Yeah. That was his exact words.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would have I hate to say it, but I mean, like, I kind of disagree with this game, because I don't really see anything more of it other than like, just stereotypical cowboys versus Indians kind of bullshit. And I mean, like, I would like to learn something about the culture of some of these people. I would like to have learned about, like, some of the tribes that lived, on the BC coast who made totem poles, or to learn about, like, some of the tribes that were out in the plains, and how they lived nomadic lifestyles, following herds. And there is so much stuff that I feel like they kind of overlook, and they could have done it in a very respectful manner, to show like, the beauty of culture, that doesn't really exist anymore. And instead they just turned it into natives versus white guys.
Well, see, the thing they're going for in this game, which, agree with it or not, is what they did, right? It's a survival game about the resistance against colonization. So you are a militant. 100%. You are a native militant. And you are going to eradicate people. I mean, it's what the title is. This is my land. You're not coming here. This is my place. Get out. Not saying, again, a little problematic on the title. But then again, I actually don't know if Western tribes actually had an ownership of land concept, or if that's like a niche thing for a couple tribes or that kind of thing. My understanding that it is not, kind of like my own tribe, that is not a thing, but I could be wrong. Like, I've not done a lot of research into specific Western tribes, but again, I think the suspectness there is that maybe they didn't either. So, but I mean, I guess it's offensive because it's a militant and we want to be, a little more cautious about it, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's really funny because, like, when I was growing up in school, we did have, like, Métis teachers as well as, like, indigenous teachers. And you guys know about Métis, right? People who were... Oh, you don't know about Metis history? Okay, so when French and Scottish settlers came to Canada, they actually had relations with some of the tribes, and well, what happened was they ended up making the Métis, and sadly for them, they weren't regarded as either white people or Native American people, so they were considered sort of their own group. But the one cool thing that I can say is that about learning from...
How do I spell this word?
Métis?
I'm trying to look it up.
Oh, it's Metis.
Oh. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, like they practice the teachings and cultures from both sides, but more hinging towards like Native Canadian practices. But yeah, like having grown up with teachers that were of that background and of that cultural thing, I won't say that I know everything about it, but I have familiarity with it. And what I think is that, rather than making a video game that is all about the conflict that they had to go through, and in the fact that it was pretty much something of a war that they lost, in that, they had their freedom robbed from them, and their people were decimated, and the populations of food sources of animals that they relied on were brought almost to the brink of extinction, like bison populations
Some of them are.
Yeah. A lot of them are. But like even like bison populations in like even as far as like Alberta,
a little bit of a positive side
we
effect.
actually have to raise them in captivity, yeah.
Not side effect, but a little bit of a positive aside. Anyone had bison burger?
I've had bison before, and it's
bison burger.
It's delicious.
The best. 100%.
It is. It's really good.
Bison's
but I mean, like,
easy to get a hold of in Nebraska. I'll put it that way.
Oh, we have a bison farm around.
But I mean, like,
yeah.
You can get bison meat at like every grocery store here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's just one of those things. I mean, like, it's more than just about Native American history that that they're focusing on. They're focusing on a really very serious and tragic event that took place. It didn't take place over the course of just a few years. This was many decades of people losing their rights and their freedom and their home.
Manifest Destiny. That was the concept.
It's
yeah.
And I honestly think that that's probably not the game that they should have made. I think if they wanted to, have better representation of the many different cultures and of all the many different peoples that existed here before people came over, I think that maybe they should have focused on maybe more of like a slice of life kind of a game where it was like, just the day-to-day routines
Sure,
of just living off of the lands and, surviving and, passing on their teachings to future generations.
Or
Or
you can do just if they want to do the sort of Native American survival game, don't have any white people.
That's also another thing.
1400.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 1400 and you're in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just take white people out of video games. Cancel the white man.
So this is where I think we get into video games as an art, right? Like I get what you're saying, Morg, and I get what you're saying, Pan, where you do this, you can send a totally different message and avoid all of this by putting it at a different time or even a different way of conveying it in Morg's case. However, they purposely set out to do this. Like 100% purposely set out to make a game about a revenge arc of you are there to clear people out. Get out.
Yeah.
You're dead. I'm done. It was specifically 100% that. And that is their, whether people, myself or others like it or not, that is what their artistic vision was for this. This is their idea. And they're standing by it, and I commend them for that. But I'm not sure where I lie on this, right? Because this is what they specifically intended to do. And games as an art, that there's a reason why that was a discussion, right? Because games is very much a collaborative thing, right? Especially larger games. So it's hard to say. Well, it's easy for me to put out a drawing of, I don't know, let's say Hunter Sub fighting a Diablos and say this is my artistic rendition, right? Yeah, for instance, yeah, right, Pan. One of my art pieces I actually did put out. It's easy to say this is a piece of art and this was my vision, and yeah, sure, there's critiques to it. I suck. I get it. I know. Whatever, right? But it's weird because this is the story that they wanted to tell. This is the thing they wanted to do. And I'm not sure that it's up to us, even as me, I'm not sure that it's up to people to say that you can't do this. I think it's totally okay to say, I don't like this, and here's why. But I don't think it's okay to say, you can't do this, right? Because that's limiting expression, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I'm not going to police them for making a game that they think, is made with the best of intentions. But I mean, I'm not going to buy it. Let's just say that.
I'm not either. I'm not either.
I don't like the message that comes behind it, justification for violence, based off of a real life circumstance. It's just I don't buy war games.
Could you imagine
for that?
Could you imagine if we had a video game about last year's riots, where you played as a police officer? Could you imagine? Could you imagine the problems with that game? Right?
The context is relatable in that sense. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a different time period, and sure, this is more recent, and it's still really raw, but, fuck! It's the same issue.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they understand, how sensitive that is.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Well, so, I don't know, conflict between people in the past is like, it's just a thing, right? And they wanted to make this historically accurate, and it was just, I don't know. It's just it's like you said, Morgan. It's a risky topic. It is a risky topic.
Yeah.
But they're going full ham, and.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I'm really sorry that someone went through that. That is.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm kind of disappointed in the naivety of the developers. I feel like they didn't really understand what they were getting themselves into, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed with the message that they're getting across in their work. Yeah. It's definitely not the game for me.
You know
Yeah.
what we really need is for Native American representation. You know what we really need?
Mm-hmm.
Turok to come back.
I knew I was waiting for you to say something like a Turok Monster Hunter crossover.
Oh no! Don't no. That'd be good too.
When you have a badass indigenous Rambo going around and killing velociraptors and aliens, it just...
Oh yeah.
People can't get upset with that, you know?
It's empowerment.
It's fiction.
Baby. It's empowerment.
It is. It is empowering.
Yeah.
From the perspective of just like the game that they have made, without like the controversy or anything, like I watched it and at first, like the first couple of things I saw about it, like I was excited because I'm like, yay, sort of non-traditional RPG exploration type game.
Mhm.
And then I watched more of it and I'm like, oh, it's Cowboys and Indians. It's a Cowboys and Indians Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I would like to see more Shadow of Mordor-like games where you do have that sort of learning
Yeah.
AI coming against you, which that is the case here. It is
Mhm.
a learning AI. They do
Yeah.
talk about how the settlers will adapt to your tactics and your styles and that kind of stuff, which is
Yes.
cool. But like, that was cool for Mordor. That I'm not sure. Like, my official stance on this game is just sort of like in the middle for me. It's just like, I'm okay that they made this. I really wish they would have executed it better.
So
I feel like they probably would have done better if they did like a sneak around Assassin's Creed style of game where
Part of it
you
is
were
that, yeah.
like a Gaul slave that was taken in by the Roman Empire, and you're like in Rome, and you had to try and escape the Empire to try and go back to into your home and stuff like that. Like that,
So do
I feel would have been a better
Spartacus
game.
the video game?
Fuck it, yeah, why not?
Nice.
That would have been really cool.
Well,
Um,
I was gonna say, an aside to, a lot of people consider Connor to be like one of the worst Assassin's Creed assassins. Is a lot of people's opinion that I've seen, because he's so stoic and so, I don't know, serious, I guess, stern. Because they like.
Can you blame him?
I mean, so like he's kind of following up because okay, so we had Altair, then we had Ezio, and then was it Connor after that, or was it Kenway then
Connor
Connor?
would have been right after
Connor and then Kenway.
Kenway would
Okay,
have been his.
because I've completely forgot. Yeah,
father?
Kenway was his dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've completely forgotten. I completely forgot about Kenway.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, people wanted Ezio, who's like fun, and he like fucks bitches and gets money.
Okay.
Italian pimp daddy.
I actually actively don't like Ezio. I booted up number 2 and I was like, this guy's a little whack.
Oh.
I'm out.
Kenway was his grandpa.
Oh yeah, he's
okay.
crazy.
Yeah, and like Altair was basically like a weed smoking ninja.
I liked Altair. I didn't like Ezio. I played 3, and I played 3 on the Wii U because Wii U. We had to find games to play, right? But I was interested because also Native American, right? So a lot, and I saw a lot of criticism for his mentality about things and like that kind of thing. I'm like, dude, no. Like I've been at tribal meetings. There's like 30 of those people at my tribe. Like that's just that is not that unusual to be like a stern, quiet, and very reserved person. And also the simmering anger boiling underneath the whole time. Like it is not an unusual representation in my experience, right? In my own experience with my own tribe. But like, I mean, I learned some wacky stuff in my tribe. I'll tell you what. Um, there was
Okay.
there was this guy. He was like this. So he was a very very stern, very quiet guy. But you got him going. He was really relatable and kind and that kind of stuff. His name was Chongo, and Chongo was like he was like Connor to the T, like I was just like, wow, yeah, that's no, this is if Chongo wasn't like 70, yeah, that's Chongo right there. um, so yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't have much else to say about the topic, honestly. I just wanted to have a discussion because of like I was a little confused, like a little bit, because the biggest thing that I saw, like again, that I had a problem with is people being like, "No, you can't talk about it because you're not one of those people." And I'm like, "Well, then it never gets talked about." What's the alternative?
That would be the issue.
Like
I think the issue is the context. Like it really
I mean,
it felt like like at what point of Native American history do you want to tell? Like, what's the story that you want to tell? And how well are you going to tell it?
I mean, there's a really well liked play here in my area in Chillicothe, and for context, Chillicothe is a representation of the word city in Algonquin. It was a city for natives in this area, and got colonized here in Ohio. So, and there is a play about my tribe, and specifically about one of my like ancestors.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
it's called Tecumseh, and I am related to Tecumseh. Now, some people may know that name, some people may not, but he's like one of the few very well-known Shawnee chiefs. I am not a direct descendant of Tecumseh. I am a direct descendant of his brother Tetswaka. So, but that play, as much as it wants to celebrate and talk about the settlement and the drama of colonialization in Ohio, and the Tecumseh and Shawnee, how they banded together to fight back and ultimately ended up not being able so. It is also entirely fiction and completely demonizes Tetswaka. I did not know this, and I worked as an usher one time for like a yearbook thing. Like the yearbook club all worked as ushers. So I worked as an usher, and I stayed for the whole play and watched it by myself. I came out in tears because I was like, this is not what happened. This is not what happened at all. And this is a problem everywhere for a lot of things. Right? Like I could have possibly another whole couple episodes talking about the kind of stuff that I've gone through with my tribe and being Native American that has just sucked sometimes. like I've had to deal with things like people straight up just being like, prove to me that you're Native American because you have a beard. It's like, I don't, what?
Well, that's the thing, though, is that, not all the traits of a Native American are going to cross over with somebody who, is not... And I'm going to use an air quotes because I don't want to be, insensitive or anything. Pure blood.
Oh yeah, no, and
I
that's
actually have a couple of Métis friends who are blonde hair and blue eyes. You wouldn't think that they had like a native dad or mom or anything like that. Like you wouldn't think that. You'd think that they were just another white kid.
yeah. It's a strange world that we live in. It's a strange, you know, because the political correctness and that kind of stuff can go very wrong, and it's gone very wrong for me a couple times when they're like, "No, you don't have any grounds to stand on because you're not X amount or X something," and I'm like, "But I mean, I literally, my religion, up until I was like in high school, was Shawnee. Like, that's what I wrote down for my religion, like every time, and that's what I 100% believed. Like,
When the extreme left, gets to the point where they are the ones who are more offensive, more bigoted and racist than the alt-right. Oh my god, what the fuck do we do, man? I have no idea.
yeah,
I don't
and that's
know
what I
which
was
side to
saying.
stand on anymore.
That-
Like,
this topic is just inherently political, even though maybe we don't want it to be, but like it's just inherently that way. Again, I don't have much else to say about this. I guess just be aware this game exists. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. If you want to play that kind of
enjoy
thing,
it quietly.
and if you don't, you don't. But I guess my summary is that yeah, there's problems with it and it's problematic. But I think they have a right to make such a thing, and I think they need to do better. I think they do need to be more conscious of what they were getting into. But at the same time, like on the same coin, I am glad that there is some more representation that isn't cowboys.
Even if
and
it is
Indians.
misrepresentation, at least there's something.
Right. And if you want good representation, go watch Blood Quantum. Which, by the way, the concept of having X amount of blood in your is called the Blood Quantum. And that's why it's called that.
Okay.
So
That's actually really cool.
it's on Shudder. That's all I know where it's on. So anything else tonight, Pan or Morg?
Honestly, all I can say is that moderation is really the key factor in all of this. Just be a little bit more open-minded. Be willing to give a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with a little bit of compromise. And just if there's any like sort of issue that you have with somebody politically, honestly, just you can disagree, but respectfully disagree. And then you can provide citation for the reasons why you see things the way you do, whatever.
I'd also like to add to that, Morg, is listen. Most people just don't even listen.
Listening.
To each other.
Yeah,
Just listen.
listening is an important factor, because if everybody's talking all at once, nobody's being heard.
There's a kitty.
Oh, a
That's
cute little
Beerus.
kitty cat. Hello, how are you today?
He's good.
Well, anyways, yeah. I mean, like, that's really all I can say is that moderation is key in life, and being able to be a little bit more accepting and a little bit more tolerant of things.
I tried to get Blinky over here. She's not doing it. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
screw off. I'm tired. Anyways, so yeah, a little more heavy episode. I'm sorry. I felt like I was on a grandstand the whole time.
Now I'm just hungry. You guys had to go and talk about bison burgers. God damn it.
Damn it.
Urgh, no.
had
I made some
recently.
really awesome curry for dinner.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to post
made-
a picture of
I
that
made
awesome
people-
pork chop that I barbecued
people
myself
hungry.
yesterday.
So yeah, next week, hopefully, we will be talking about Monster Hunter Rise. Not Rise, the movie.
The movie. The movie.
The Paul W.S. Anderson masterpiece. Okay, let me level with you guys, and I'll talk about this next week. A lot of people really hate some of the movies that he made that I really love. 100%, I love Soldier.
There were a couple of stinkers that he made, but I mean, he also made which was not a bad movie, even though some of the action sequences were very shortly cut together in such a way that
Oh, you mean
it was
like
very
all
chaotic.
of the Avengers movies? All of them? Where you get
Yeah.
confused where you are at any point in a fight? Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, so we'll be talking about that next week, and obviously more Monster Hunter Rise, and also it would have been Ace's turn to pick the monster, so I'm gonna pick.
Ooh, what you gonna pick?
I want to talk about one that's maybe a little more controversial.
Oh, is it gonna be Plesioth?
It's gonna be Plesioth, yes.
Okay, let's talk about it. Why not?
Yeah, I know. It's going to be everyone giving it an F and me giving it an S. I understand.
Hardly. Plesioth is not the worst one in the game. There were way worse monsters in the series than Plesioth.
Yeah, like King Shakalaka.
Or World Lavasioth. Ugh. Ugh. Gross monster.
I really hate Plesioth.
Most people do, Pan.
He. You know what? There is one. I can't speak to King Shakalaka because I didn't fight him. But I find that the premise of him a bit offensive. But Plesioth, he ranks above Cephadrome is how I'll put it.
Mm-hmm.
And he certainly ranks above Duran Moran.
Really? You don't like Dalran Moran?
Oh no, that guy can go die in a hole.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Nobody
We're
likes
talking about-
unicorns
we're
of the
talking
sea.
about the sand unicorn.
Dalran Moran, yeah.
Yeah, the sand whales, they can both go die in a hole. Both of them.
Narwhals, swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion, 'cause they are so awesome. Narwhals, swimming in the ocean, pretty big and pretty wide. They beat a polar bear in a fight, like an underwater unicorn. They got a kick-ass spatial horn. They're the Jedi of the sea. They stop Cthulhu eating ye.
Google thinks I'm trying to look up this guy named Darren Morin, who is apparently the owner of the Fiji Water Company.
It's Dahren. Okay.
I know.
Darren.
Oh my god.
Okay.
You guys are making my jaw muscles hurt so much because I've been smiling this whole fucking time. Oh my god. Even the chat, you're responsible for the pain of my enjoyment. I suffer in this enjoyment. Oh god, my face hurts so much.
From doing the whale song? The narwhal?
No, from smiling this whole time. Oh my
Oh.
cheek muscles hurt so much. Oh my god.
You gotta get used to smiling more, Morg.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, I'm just like such a relaxed face when I'm at home.
I've got like 150 hours of smiling called Monster Hunter Rise.
I'm somewhere like around 50, but that's because I've been restricting myself to like 2 to 3 hours a day, and that's it.
I figured
And then
out
I'll
how
have
to
like long periods for.
fix my Switch issues and Emery's because we had
Really?
the checking for software every time we booted up a game. You have to deactivate the old console, so it just does it on the old console. And I'm like, cool, that's cool. But what happens if the console's dead? Figured out, you can go on Nintendo's website and once a year deactivate a console. So I deactivated the dead console that won't allow me to switch it over, and now Emery can now play Minecraft in the car, which she cried about
joy.
on the whole way 2 hours home last week. It won't happen again this week. So, yay. So, yeah. So, thank you guys for joining us tonight. A little bit of a heavier and quieter episode. And less about Monster Hunter today, but I don't know. I felt like I needed to talk about it because I felt like there were some things that needed to be said on both ends. Like, both bad and like, hey, maybe, maybe we could give these ideas a chance if it was a better idea, maybe. But like, it was, I don't know. I felt like I needed to say something.
No. This was a good, wholesome episode, in my opinion. We had some laughs, we had some heavy moments.
Yeah. So, thanks for listening.
It was worth it.
Thanks for sticking around. We'll catch you next week. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's @HuntersHubPod. I recently broke 300 followers. That's fun. Um,
Oh, nice.
um, that's cool. The podcast is doing really well. We got 300 listeners on our last episode, or
Oh,
2
wow.
episodes ago,
So
I should say. Because yeah, Rise is super popular, and yeah, of course we're gonna have a drop off at some point. But hey, enjoy the ride while it lasts, and and I'm gonna hop off and do some more Great Azuchi crown hunting. So probably, or I might just help people and never make my goals and just get a 700 hours in the game. Who knows? And
I might join you.
okay. Yeah, Hunter Sub Pod on Twitter. We got the Twitch channel here, obviously at Hunter Sub Pod. If you're listening afterwards, and then join the Discord, and we leave links
Doing
for that
another
all the
giveaway.
time. And we're doing another giveaway. We're doing that next week. Same thing, same digital deluxe edition because he also got the same card in his special edition Switch that he doesn't need. So, there you go. Doesn't have a use for it, I should say.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night. And Morg, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me. I changed my tag from Morgan at Hey 3 to Morg Diddy. So it is capital
Diddy.
M, 0, capital ORG, and then capital D, Iddy. IDDY.
Morg Diddy.
Yeah.
Morg Diddy with a 0. Got it.
Because Diddy Kong is based.
I mean, yeah. He's good. I mean, if I knew what based was, but yeah.
It means cool.
It means awesome, radical,
Is this like this stupid
totally tubular.
thing where people were calling birds? What was it? Burbs? Yeah, there you go. Burbs.
Burbs, yeah.
It's 421.
nothing like that.
421. We're having an Abe Simpson moment where we used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Anyways, no, based is what the kids say now instead of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with based. I'm not okay with burb because that sounds like suburban. I was like, what are you talking about suburbans
okay.
for? Like,
I hate the term spoopy. It's dumb. It's spooky.
it's
Not
like
spoopy.
it's like cute spoopy.
You're poopy.
You're poopy. You say spoopy, you're poopy. There you go.
Exactly. Anybody who's spoopy is poopy.
And Pan.
You can find me on the Discord because I don't social media much.
There you go. All right. Have a good night, folks, and hopefully we'll start to see what the new monsters are soon. Ooh. So,
Bye bye.
laters.
Bye-bye.
Oh no, I forgot how to turn off the stream. Bye bye.